Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Doom from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, one half the creative team behind DungeonSwag.com, and I have here a piece of insulation foam that is beat up and mushed. That was abandoned, and I got an actually sizable chunk of this from somewhere. And what we're going to do is quickly, we're going to do a couple bases real fast. And the reason we're going to do them real fast is because we're doing a quick craft. So if you've not used one of these hot foam cutters, it saves a lot of time. You don't have to use them. You can easily do the same process using a knife, but I am all about speed today. Tonight is our D&D night. We're playing Tomorrow Comes Doom in Space, my Star Wars game. It's not really Star Wars, but it's a space future RPG I invented. And we are doing the playtest on it, and it's been a lot of fun. So I have been excited all week, and you guys have actually been with me as we have made some of the terrain we'll be unveiling this evening. Nothing is too spectacular, but terrain is terrain is terrain. Alright, so I got three not sizable, but bases here. This one's about 2 by 3, this one's about 2 by 2, this one's about 2 by 2.5. We're just making scatter terrain. Let me put my phone Slicer-O-Matic away, my +1 laser cutting foam weapon. Alright, so I have a couple different ideas of what we're going to do. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to get some of this pipe, and we are going to mount it on here to look like pipe coming out of the ground possibly. It's an idea I'm having. I'm not sure how good of an idea it'll be. So what we want to do is we want to grind that down in there as best we can. Use it like a saw to cut your shape you want. There you go. Just like that. Okay. Hot glue. Butter towel. Now, unlike with some of our other stuff, we're going to be using hot glue for some part of this besides the actual mounting. Usually I don't use glue as part of my decor unless it's for like slime or something like that, but today we're actually going to use it for a little bit extra than what we normally do. I got glue all over me. I'm burnt to SHI crap. Alright, so, ow, that hurt. We're going to take this and we're going to just use that texture and pull that glue around from that pipe and make it part of the terrain there. Okay? Hold on, I did not actually get glue sticks out because I didn't know what I was making until about 10 seconds before I started the video. But I thought to myself as I was looking at my stuff upstairs, man, I could use some more scatter train and maybe some more glue burns. Oh man, I can't get that out of that hole. Alright. Coming back around here, we have hot glue. We're going to catch that, pull it off the pipe. Make sure there's no visible seam left of this pipe when we're done. This is going to be all one piece. It's not going to look like multiple pieces that are just kind of stuck together like we normally do. We really want this to look like these pipes have been in the ground for so long that the terrain is just kind of... Alright, we'll come back to that one. It's going to need some more work when it cools. I just want to show you something on that. These pipes, I did not cut these off perfectly. I cut them off rugged, then I got a knife and I went around here and jagged them up so they look corroded. The next one we're going to do is going to be a shield generator of sorts, I think. So the idea I kind of have is to make a small force field generator that's out in the middle of the forest or something. Or it could be in a town, I guess, really. We don't want to make it exceptionally large. We want to signify that this is a portable generator. That's what we really want to convey with our craft here. So whenever you have pieces like this and you want to sink this in, you're not going to be able to saw with that. So get your piece, right? Shove in your groove that you want to put your stuff into a little bit. Dab it up. Boop. Boop. And you're probably like, dude, the ends are open. Yes, I know. We'll take care of it, I promise. We'll handle that. So we're going to have to hold this for a moment. And then for the last one, I kind of was thinking a small defensive turret. It's all about speed. Let's get that pushed in there good. Yeah, ninja. All right, we'll come back to this one while that one's setting. All right, so here's the deal. That, we have to put something in there. We're going to use glue for speed, but that's an expensive fix. You could cut some cardboard and drop it down in there. You could do a lot of things, but we're just, for speed reasons, I'm putting glue in here just to seal this up some. Because we're going to have to paint all the parts that are foam so that whenever we put our clear coat on at the end, it doesn't shred and melt that foam. I actually don't use foam that much except for things like this and rocks and stuff when I can help it. Just because what will happen is the I can't even do English. The foam will be destroyed. And it doesn't matter if you get it all up inside here and stuff, okay? It's not going to hurt anything, I promise. Now, a lot of the people on YouTube do like Mod Podge. What is that stuff called? Mod Podge. I have some of it. Let me see what it's called. It is called Mod Podge. Sorry, they call it Mod Podge and Mod Pod and everything else. A lot of them use a mix for this kind of stuff to cover up the thing, and that's actually smart because Mod Podge isn't water soluble. So we're going to do something similar ourselves when we get to that point. All right, so we're going to cut this piece here. We're going to line it up to our terrain. Draw a half a circle. And that's going to just plug right on the edge of our piece here, right? Dab glue on the inside. Stick it to the terrain. Get it in place. Now we need to make sure it doesn't flip open at the top here. So now that it sits for a second, we're just going to get a little bit there to close it up. Clean off the excess. We're going to do the same thing on this side. Get a small piece. We're going to turn it around here. Draw ourselves a half circle. Now, I joke about cutting sloppy and stuff on this kind of deal. You might not really want to be super sloppy with your cut, because it might not want to play the game you want it to play when it comes time to line up if you do. Okay, so we just want to let that set for a second. Okay. I'm going to come in here. Get a little dab inside. Whoop. Closes up. Seals up nice and tight. Had a little stick over right there. See it sticking out over the edge. We're just going to snip that off. Okay, here we go. So our generator body is about ready and done. Our turret looks pretty sturdy. And we need to get some more glue down in these holes just to make sure. Now, when this is all said and done, and it has been painted, we're going to be putting something in these openings. But until then, we got a problem. All right, so we're going to do a little bit different on our base coat today. We're not going to be using a spray can like I usually do for our prime. We're going to be using, I don't know, something. I don't know yet. All right. Got our 3 pieces. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get some melted chocolate. Some black. Oh, I have another idea. Something we can do quick too while we're at it. Some Mod Podge in here. Now, that's going to be really thick for doing our base coat, right? Like, this whole situation is going to be super thick. Especially because I'm about to dump some sand in it, too. Alright, so, crappy brush, something we can throw away, always. Let me stir this a little bit. Where's that spoon? Threw it in the garbage. Of course I did. Some people use coffee grounds instead of sand. I don't know how good that does. I assume it smells way, way, way better, though. I mean, that's just the logical thought there. If you like the smell of coffee, it's going to be great. I'm a coffee person. I don't like every coffee, obviously. You know, I don't like every one of them, but a lot of coffees I really do like. It's kind of my jam. Do they still say that, my jam? Who knows? Alright, so we got a little bit of sand in there. And what that's going to do is with that Mod Podge in there, in the sand and the paint, it's going to create a protective layer for that that foam, and then it's going to help bring this dirt and land growing up onto these pipes like we want to capture. When I say we, I guess I, since you didn't help me plan this one. Alright, so this one's done. I'm going to take it over. It's going to go in front of the fan until the next video, part 2. It's 2 pipes. So our next one is going to be this power generator, and we actually have some work to do on this before we paint it, okay? Before we put our tan texture on it. We're going to need to do a little bit of decoratory stuff here. So let's start here. Bring a strap all the way across. Looks like it fits pretty good. Okay. Okay, one. That's too wide. Did that not catch? We didn't get it under there. There we go. Whoop. Boop. Okay, we're going to go across right here. Curl this so it's easier to wrap around. I did that on the first one. I just didn't think to tell you about it. It worked out that was just long enough for what we wanted to do there. I did not plan that. Alright, so we have a little bit of overglue, as we always do with me. It's kind of my thing. That one's a little bit short. We're just going to throw that there, a little bit of glue. Okay, don't clean up any of the overspray glue. Or not spray, you know what I mean. The over squirt glue. And then we're going to do, oh, everyone's favorite thing. We'll toss a couple rivets on this bad boy. I don't know how bad it is, or if it's a boy. We didn't even have that kind of conversation today. Okay. Any random wet spot you get is generally a bad sign. So if you're crafting and you feel wet on your hand, always check to see if you're bleeding. I was in the Army one time. Well, I guess, yeah. So one time when I was in the Army, I was carving a bar of soap out of boredom with one of these kind of, crafting knives. And somehow I whacked my finger, like a big chunk of my finger off. And it took years to look semi-normal actually after that. But I didn't realize I had cut myself. I had just come back from surgery, so I was on a bunch of pain pills. And I should not have been playing with a knife to begin with. So I felt something wet on my hand and looked down, and lo and behold, I had a gusher. I had chopped off a big chunk of flesh. That was only one silly time I hurt myself. A lot of my injuries were very silly. One time I was putting together a folding cot, and it was like 0 degrees out, and the bar snapped out of my hand and spun up, and I had to get stitches between my eyes. I've done quite a few silly self-injury things that I did not set out to do over the years. All right, so we need something, anything, to put on this to make it look like wiring. So we're just going to use, I have this, I don't know what it's called. It's just like a thin wire stuff for our generator here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roughly form it. I'm going to quickly drill a hole in the side of our generator here. Yep. And we're going to shove that in there just like that. Hold on, we need a little sturdiness here. Okay, spider webs. Alright, so we're going to put that in the side of our generator. Maybe. There we go. And then we're going to put it in the ground here. Alright, so you really don't need to glue that part where it's in the generator, but you do want to kind of glue it where it's in the ground to hold it in place. If you have any cracks in your ground or weird spots you made, this would be the time to cover those up with a little bit of glue. Otherwise, we're going to go back to this technique here. We're going to get the glue, or sorry, the Mod Podge sand and paint here. We're going to shove it down in the cracks and holes, covering up as much foam as we can, just so that when we clear coat, it does not bork up what we're trying to do here. You don't want to get this all over your craft. You don't want to get it all over your little generator. You just want to kind of have it coming up onto it to look like it's been there for a minute and it's kind of buried in there. Unless you want yours to look like it's just been set on the ground, that it's not actually half buried or hooked to anything. But I'm assuming that if you looked at this, you would say, oh, this is round, and it's like, you know what I mean? Just a thought. Nobody knows. I don't. All right. So our third one is this turret. So there's a couple things I'd like to do with this turret. Let me grab some drinking straws. I have more here. So I'd like to do this as if we have some kind of, it's an attractive build. It's not just some crap I threw together like I normally do. I want this to have a little bit more detail than usual. I want this turret to be something that, instead of just saying, oh, look, a turret, they look at it and they go, uh-oh, that looks dangerous. Okay? So whenever I want to accomplish that, I just put a little more effort into my craft, and then they look at it and they go, oh, no. Now, that's metagaming when they do that. And we could have conversations about metagaming for days if you guys wanted. But the real important thing you need to know about metagaming is there's different types of metagaming. So there's the cheating metagaming, which is like, we're going to fight trolls, make sure you got, like, you know, flaming weapons. We're going to fight vampires, make sure you got a +1 weapon. We're going to fight werewolves, we need silver. But there's no way their character would know that, right? So that's what I would call, like, your cheaty metagaming. And then there would be, like, your situational metagaming, where it's like, you've played in my campaigns and you kind of know what I do, so you start trying to guess and sort plot to save yourself the effort of dealing with it on the fly. And then there is the very physical metagaming of looking at the terrain and making your decisions based off of that situation, which isn't bad either, I guess. But cheating is bad. The cheating one is. But the other two are just, they are what they are. Okay, so I just wanted to get something that looked like some cables coming up the side here. Or more so cable protectors coming up the side here. Something like that, maybe. That would work. Okay. And then we need something to go around the bottom there so those aren't just flapping out in the wind. So let's cut a thin strip of this. And then we also need to find something to put on top here, you know, of the turret. Let's see if this wraps around. I might not have cut something long enough. Yeah, I definitely did. Okay, cool. We're going to start here. We're going to get up right underneath them, get behind them. Get that in there nice and dry and hard. That is not good to say. I did not mean to be a pervert. Alright, so we're going to do that. And we're going to take that and wrap it around like that. Okay. See there? That is how we are doing our turret. Alright, we got our cables. This turret is not like the other ones that I made that were like a person goes into, right? This turret is like an auto turret of some sort. So what I got is some straw out of a cup. So what I'm trying to accomplish here is, if you can see, I got a bead on top. I'm going to have a bead here where the turret's mounted to. And it's going to sit right on top of that one. Then let those solidify a little bit. Okay. Then I'm going to have this cannon coming off the front. Alright, we're going to go around that a little bit just to make sure it stays. Alright, that looks pretty plain and terrible, almost like I made some kind of weed smoking device, but I did not. So let's do some stuff to make that look a little less like a weed smoking device and a little more like a turret. So we can throw some buttons on it. Let's do one on the back here. Okay, and we'll do one on top maybe. Does that match? Nope, it was close. Alright. Do one on each side. Bloop. Now, you might put stuff on here and you're like me and you're just zooming along and you don't stop. And then you look from the top and you're like, wait, is that Princess Leia's hair? No, it's not. Just kidding. No, but what I was actually going to say is if you're working on something like this and you see that you put something on here crooked and they're not like, this side and this side are not like, kind of parallel or whatever, don't flip about that little stuff, man. It's stuff that you can easily fix. Or you can just leave it and say, hey, it's been there a long time. It's a little bit damaged. That's possible. Okay, so we're just going to put that there. We're going to bend this down around the edge. There we go. Nice. And this is just going to add a little bit extra interest and make it a little more technical and a little less silly time madness. Now it looks less like I was trying to make a smoking device and a little bit more like a turret. And we really could go next level if we want to. But we probably don't want to. Never mind. Let's just stick with what we're doing. Okay. Bend this up so it can go around the side. Boop, 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 boop. Now this has been in the wilderness for a while, so some of the armor plating could be falling off of it, some of it could be distressed, some of it could be highly damaged. We don't know. So we're going back here, we got this. Do we want to rivet anything on here? Yeah, we better. We better do some rivets. We don't want Mrs. Gruda to see our project with no rivets on it. Then she might think I don't need her little rivets anymore. I don't know where to put her little rivets at. These rivets are from gem beads, or gem paintings, or bead paintings. I don't know what they're called exactly. But it's like a bunch of different color little beads, and the picture tells you what to put there, and you get your bead and you put it on the right color and make your thing. So we could put some beads on here, some gems, as little rivets. That'll also help break up the confusion as to whether or not this is a pipe for smoking something you shouldn't be smoking in your garage while you're crafting, or if this is a piece of terrain. Somebody will look at my table and go, oh, well, it's got his little stupid beads on it. It must be terrain. It's got his little rivets. It's terrain. Don't smoke anything out of that. Nobody's laughing. I'll tell you why. It's because you all have somebody in your group that you know would try to smoke something out of it. Every one of you has somebody like that in your group, I bet. Whoa. That's terrible. Alright, looks like we need one more at M. Alright, so we want to clean up our little bit of bead mess we made here. We don't want to lose all our rivets. We won't be able to make videos without them. You guys will come to watch your video of me making garbage into something. It just won't be there. You'll never hear from me again. Something tragic happened. We ran out of rivets. Alright, remember, Mod Podge, paint, a little bit of sand in here. It's just so when we clear coat it from above, that nothing kind of melts our styrofoam. As soon as I get done with this, I'm going to throw this in front of the fan. I'm going to take a little break, clean up this mess, base coat these with a primer. Actually, I don't know if I will base coat these with a primer now that I think about it. I think I will not. But anyways, and then we'll come back when these are dry and we'll paint these, alright? So I want to thank everybody for watching. I don't have Patreon and stuff. I am not into that. I don't really know if I ever will be. This is not my job. This is something I do for fun. But I will say this. If you want to support, the best way you can show your support is to go to dungeonswag.com and take a look there. Maybe recommend it to a friend if you don't need the miniatures yourself. I was going to make this to where you could turn the turret, and I changed my mind if you're wondering what I was doing there. But, well, actually, that'll still work. Okay, cool. Yeah, so check us out on dungeon-swag.com. Links in the description. Take a look at the minis. See if you want to get a subscription box. Every month you get minis shipped to your door for $16.99. That includes shipping. You get a box of minis. You put them together. You paint them up. It's a good time. Even though they're our product, I still look forward to them every month. I'm always excited when they come. So, see you guys next time.